Theresa May has rejected rivals' claims that the next Tory leader must have supported a Leave vote in the EU referendum, saying people want more than a Brexit Prime Minister. The Home Secretary promised to bring the Remain and Leave sides together and govern for the whole country. But Andrea Leadsom and Michael Gove both said the winning candidate must have backed Brexit. Candidates have been setting out their stalls in a series of interviews. Mr. Gove, the Justice Secretary, defended his tactics in the face of criticism, telling Andrew Marr it would have been a betrayal of this country if he had allowed Boris Johnson to run. The leadership contest was triggered by David Cameron's decision to step down by October after he was defeated in the EU referendum. Like the PM, Mrs. May campaigned for a Remain vote, saying during the campaign EU membership made the UK more secure. But she told ITV's Peston on Sunday it was not a question of what was your view 10 days ago, promising to reconcile both sides of the debate and move forwards. While talks to extract the UK from the EU and to strike trade deals would be hugely important, she said people were not looking for a Prime Minister who is just a Brexit Prime Minister, but a Prime Minister who can govern for the whole of the country. The Home Secretary has a comfortable lead among MP nominations over her rivals Mrs. Leadsom, Mr. Gove, Stephen Crabb, and Liam Fox. But she dismissed suggestions that others should stand aside to present a unity candidate, saying she wanted a contest and that it was important party members have their opportunity to have a say. She also said the UK had to finalise its negotiating stance before formally triggering the UK's departure from the EU by invoking Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty. But speaking on the Andrew Marr show, Mrs. Leadsom said the UK should get on with it. Mrs. Leadsom, the pro-Brexit Energy Minister, faced questions about a 2013 speech in which she said leaving the EU would be a disaster for our economy. She said she had been on a journey since making that speech and that David Cameron's reform renegotiations with Brussels showed the EU was just not reformable. She reiterated that the next Tory leader should have backed the Leave campaign, because it has to be someone who believes in the opportunity of leaving the EU. Mr. Gove, the Justice Secretary, made the same point in an interview in which he also responded to anger at last week's dramatic U-turn in turning on Boris Johnson and announcing he would stand for leader himself. Mr. Gove said his former ally had ducked crucial decisions and failed to show the qualities needed to take over from David Cameron, saying he reached his decision very late on Wednesday night. He said, "I knew that by taking that decision all sorts of people would attack me personally, but I love my country. I could not recommend that Boris was Prime Minister. I had tried to make that work and, therefore, it would have been a genuine betrayal of principle and of this country to have allowed Boris's candidacy to go ahead with my support. My confidence evaporated." In Sunday newspaper articles, Mr. Gove and Mrs. Leadsom emphasized the need for the next Prime Minister to have backed Leave in the referendum. Mr. Gove told the Sunday Times only someone who had backed Brexit would have the mandate to lead. Mrs. Leadsom told the Sunday Telegraph that it would be odd to have a leader who did not believe in leaving the EU. In an interview with the Sunday Telegraph, she said, "The Prime Minister resigned because he didn't back leaving, he doesn't believe in it, so it would be odd to just appoint somebody who also didn't believe in it. I just don't think that would be right." She said that if she was to become Prime Minister, there would be absolutely zero risk of Brexit not happening. The Energy Minister also said she wanted to emulate the leadership qualities of Lady Thatcher, who was Conservative Prime Minister from 1979 to 1990. She said, "As a person, she was always kind and courteous, and as a leader she was steely and determined. I think that's an ideal combination, and I do like to think that's where I am." Mr. Gove also said the next Prime Minister should be someone who had campaigned for Brexit. "It is a matter of democratic accountability," the Justice Secretary said in the Sunday Times. "People who voted in a particular way will expect someone who believed in that to argue their case for them. If you are going to have a leadership election, the Prime Minister having chosen to stand down, then the logic is that you need to have someone who backed Brexit and believed in it and argued for it and campaigned for it, as leader in these negotiations." He also said he would set up a pentagon of 5 senior ministers, made up mostly of those who backed Brexit, to run the EU negotiations. In the Sunday Telegraph, Mr. Gove also explained how his confidence in Boris Johnson, a leading Brexit campaigner who had been regarded as the favourite to replace Mr. Cameron, but ultimately did not stand in the leadership contest, had evaporated. That led me to make the difficult decision, at no little cost, to put friendships aside and act in the national interest. Having often declared that he did not want to be Prime Minister, I came to the uncomfortable conclusion that I was the person best qualified to deliver that change. Consumed by Brexit. Former Defence Secretary Mr. Fox, who also campaigned for leave, also spoke to the Sunday Telegraph and said he would increase defence spending if he became leader of the party. And Work and Pensions Secretary Mr. Crabb, in a joint interview with his running mate Sajid Javid in the Mail on Sunday, said he had more experience than Mrs. Thatcher had when she became leader. Meanwhile, Scotland's First Minister Nicola Sturgeon has called for immediate guarantees on the residency status and rights of European Union nationals living in Scotland. She has written to Mr. Cameron and the 5 leadership candidates to say EU citizens in Scotland are understandably anxious and uncertain about what the referendum result means for them. Although the UK overall backed leaving the EU, Scotland's 62% voted to remain. As of Friday evening, Mrs. May had secured the backing of 96 of the party's 330 MPs in the leadership context, while Stephen Crabb had 22, Mrs. Leadsom had 21, Mr. Gove had 18 and Liam Fox had 10. More than 160 MPs have yet to declare whom they will support. The candidates will take part in a series of ballots of the MPs, starting on Tuesday. The 2 most popular will then go on to a vote of the wider party membership, with the result due on September 9.